So what I'd like to do today is to cover a new addition to my tank, and you can see him there. He's a fast-moving little bugger. And this is my new, what my local fish store termed as a Christmas wrasse. I actually believe this is what is known as a red-lined wrasse. If you'll pardon me butchering the Latin name, Halichoeris biocelatus. So that's my personal opinion of what it actually is, but I'm going to go with Christmas wrasse just because, hey, you know, it's a cool name, simple, and sounds a little bit better than redline. So anyways, honestly, this is actually, unfortunately, my third Christmas wrasse in my tank. The first one never made it out of the local fish store. And the second one, he was dead within 24 hours after picking him up. This guy, on the other hand, he is small, and he is by far the smallest fish in my tank. He's only about 2 inches long, so he's a pretty small juvie. But I would say this guy immediately impressed me because he was very scrappy at the local fish store, which is what you want because they tend to be the more determined survivors. He ended up causing my one of the workers there at the local fish store to about lose their mind because she had to catch him about 8 times. It took her 8 tries in a 2-foot-long tank to try and get this guy to quit burrowing in the sand. And when he finally quit burrowing in the sand, what he did was he decided to bite the net and not let go. So if you can imagine that, you know, here's this little 2-inch guy, he's biting the net, and he says, "I'm not going in the bag." So anyways, he's just been a fun addition to the tank. Coloration-wise, these guys are absolutely gorgeous. They're red with a light green stripe in the center pattern, and it'll become more prominent as he gets bigger and matures. So I just absolutely love the color pattern that these guys have. And I've wanted one of these things for years, but I held off because I had a Melanaris that was pretty aggressive to other wrasses. So, but this guy, you know, he took a little bit of abuse from my Coral Beauty. The other fish never bothered him, and the Coral Beauty, it was more of a, you know, kind of like get out of my way newbie sort of thing for about the first week. And then after that, basically, he's just kind of been accepted as a member of the tank. My fox face didn't give him a hard time at all. Pencil wrasse could care less, which is actually good. You know, I was worried a little bit, but I think that there's enough difference in the size and shape of them that they just basically, you know, don't see any big deal with each other. But really excited once again to have this guy. I've always loved the Halichoeris variety wrasses, the Melanaris, red-lined, H. Claudia, which is also another kind that they refer to as a Christmas wrasse, and the Ornamentismus, or ornate wrasse. But just there's so many members of that family that are just absolutely gorgeous for color, wonderful personalities. Wrasses I have always intrigued me, and that's why I don't think I'll ever have a tank where I don't have like 2 or 3 of them in my tank at a given time. If you've watched my other videos, there's no shying away from it. I am a wrasse enthusiast. Of all the fish that I've ever owned, the different types of wrasses have been my favorite, just for their color activity and personality. They are peaceful fish as a whole, wrasses are, but every single one I have owned has been a very aggressive feeder, and this little guy is no exception. Probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. There was a little bit of food, and it got caught up swirling in the power head. He jumped into the power head, literally bent his body in half so he could bend backwards and catch this bit of food as it was coming through the current from this power head right here. It was actually that one. And he managed to catch a spinning piece of food that had just gotten blown away from the power head and ride the current and bend backwards to catch it. So that's probably one of the most impressive feeding displays I've ever seen from any fish. Just seeing his agility and skill with that. So, I keep using he when at this point we don't really know. However, most wrasses will transition to being male in captivity. So there's a very good chance he will become a male. Because they could be male or female. They have the ability to do both genders. Generally, in the wild, wrasses travel as kind of a harem. And if the male dies off, the largest female will begin mimicking the male behavior and will actually end up fully making the actual transition to male and then becoming the male of the group, as the saying goes. So anyway, just really happy to have this guy, and looking forward to some bright color and activity from him. And thus far, as I said, he hasn't disappointed at all. He's definitely a wrasse, and a stubborn one at that. As I said, he's put up with a little bit of a hard time from the Coral Beauty. Thankfully, the Coral Beauty has basically said, all right, I've established my place, my place here, and you're a member of the tank now. So he's basically just hanging out with the other fish and doing his own thing, and he's in good shape thus far. So anyway, that's all I've got, and thanks for watching.